All right, but it looks like regardless of what kind of controllers our players are using, we're about to get into game one here of losers quarters. Looks like it's going to be Jake versus Velma, which should be a fun one to watch. I haven't watched much. We've seen a lot of Velma in the 2v2, but I personally haven't seen her played a ton in the ones, and I haven't watched a lot of tournament play of her either yet. So this will be an exciting experience for me.
Yeah, you're right. She's a very slippery character in 1v1s because she's able to really just apply so many projectiles onto you at once. The moment you're targeted, just like that, she's going for the sass. She wants to tell you what's up, and she's going to make sure it hones in on you.
Yes, so she's about to talk your ear off as soon as that gets on you. And it's interesting, we saw as soon as Marnie got targeted, he opted for that down special. And so we didn't get to see the perks, but he might have that reflector down special we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, if you immediately get that target debuff and you're down specialing immediately, I'm just thinking, yep, he's reflecting projectiles.
Yeah, that is the most likely outcome. And it's interesting here, as much as these players are definitely moving extremely quickly, the game pace here compared to that set we watched earlier between Sandman and Daybreak, it's just a very different pace when you have a character like Velma in the game.
Yeah, and I do also got a comment so far. We're having a consistent game here, so this is actually fantastic stuff coming in from both players so far.
Yes, I knock on wood, but it looks like we were actually able to watch a set, and looking pretty good for MarniWRLD right here, putting a little bit of work in on the Jake. So, and you love to see that up attack is just so good. Same with that side air there. You're able to stretch out, almost like if you've played Smash Ultimate, the Piranha Plant down special. It's very reminiscent of that to me. And Mario able to take complete advantage of it and take the first stock.
Absolutely, and we're seeing a bunch of clues being laid around. However, Velma isn't getting to the bottom of the case here so far. She's just been going around just trying to deal as much damage as possible. I'm not so sure how I feel about that necessarily. I definitely think she needs to be going for those clues because she needs to call the cops. We clearly know Jake's the one that did it.
Yo. So, and it is interesting though, there was a bunch of clues all over the stage, but Marnie was able to block off just with the potential walling ability of Jake and how much space he can cover. He was able to sort of keep her off stage and say, you're gonna have to wait out my presence here in the air until I land on the ground again for you to get back up.
Absolutely. So far, Zage looking for any way to rack on this extra percent. Really, what Zage is looking for here at this point is to get that target debuff on Jake, so that way she's able to get a bunch of speech bubbles out in play and have them really hone in on Jake towards the top of the stage and get a kill here. Because you're running at 120%. Velma's going to have a hard time trying to get a kill at this point unless it's a spike.
Yeah, saying it's not looking trying to go good. The thing that I'm noticing about this matchup is Zage has to be really careful for when he goes for whether it's the talking he's doing there, the neutral attack, or any kind of projectile, because at the same point that he has the windup for those moves, Jake is able to stretch out his arm potentially and counter and even trade with some of those we've seen. So it's been a pretty big point of emphasis. But Zage able to get that first stock, and now his chance to sort of, deal a little bit of damage, and just barely live in there. Still has a chance.
Yeah, you're right about that, and also with having the little thought bubble there as well, just being in the middle of that area, really provided a good area for speech bubbles to go over to, but unfortunately it just wasn't going to be enough as game one is going to go to MarniWRLD here. You're doing a really just impressive job at really not giving Velma any way to keep that stage control that she does so desperately need.
Yep, I think Marnie doing a really great job of staying within a great spacing range for that side air and things like that. And we really saw a pretty cohesive game plan where once he did get targeted once, or once they got targeted once, immediately down special, but then the amount of pressure and spacing they were able to keep with the side air was really impressive to me. And just be able to find kills, every once in a while, be able to find that opening for the downer to get in and get a bunch of damage, just kind of out damaged the amount of interactions. Like Marnie won an interaction or got in, I feel like they got much more out of it than Zage was able to.
Indeed, and here we go. We're going to be getting started here with game two relatively shortly. I think they're going to stick with the same perks. I don't really see... Oh, excuse me. I don't know why I'm yawning so much, but anyways, I don't really see any reason to really switch up your perks unless you really want that extra movement or stage control. I think the Velma might switch perks, but I'm not sure exactly what kind of perks she likes to typically play with because movement's not her #1 most important thing that she needs. So
generally up for a more cooldown based build, but we'll have to see how this is going here. And we immediately get the up special on the ground, try to slow some movement, but Marty able to go right over it and land a hit.
So it looks like we got our first clue. Now we just gotta find our second one next. Jake gonna get the target. We're gonna see some speech bubbles come into play. However, yep, it's gonna be that Jake car gonna reflect the projectiles, of course. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit of stuff going on here. There's the speech bubbles once again. It looks like she's got an idea. What kind of idea do you got going, Zage?
So definitely, and I think one of the big differences here is it feels like Zage is playing a little bit more in the center stage. I mean, definitely towards the corner still and playing an evasive style of play, but able to hold center a little bit more and able to force Jake to run into some of these things they're throwing out.
Absolutely, and right now, Zage, once again, trying to find a way to enter here, not really being given any options because MarniWRLD has just been doing a really good job at keeping this intense pressure going non-stop and just not giving really any sort of a way for Zage to approach properly. All right, we see another clue into play. I'm not sure if she was able to pick it up that time. So unfortunately, she might have lost out on that potential opportunity to get that police car because we clearly know that Jake's the one that did it. However, Jake's really trying to hide this evidence. Okay, we see two more out on the play. Are we gonna get? Yep, there we go. We see another piece of evidence. We just need to get one or two more.
Yeah, I say, but will they have time? Sitting at 106, you know, Jake has several ways to kill you decently early. They're not going to do it yet.
No!
Up there also not doing it, but Marnie is all over Zage right now.
If I were Zage right now, every time I would be put up in the air, I would go grab that last piece of evidence on the top there because that's going to be really good for getting that police car out of the play. And then guess what? MarniWRLD now cannot prioritize Velma. He has to prioritize the police car. And so because of that, look, that I don't like this because
hey, no, look at the damage. Look at the damage. Right on spawn onto Marnie. Say, I
was wrong.
Zage able to get the reversal, get the kill with the down air, and now is just going off on this second life here. Marnie's in at 83%. Meanwhile, Zage has not been hit again yet.
I'm genuinely impressed because I did not think that would work out.
Another up air, and Zage gonna take him off the top back-to-back. Two stock coming out after losing game one. What a change there for Zage.
Phew. I mean, we clearly knew who it was that did it, and so we needed to get them in prison as soon as possible. Jake not going to be able to escape the police on that one for game two.
Definitely, and I think the thing that's so impressive there from Zage was the timing on calling out the down specials from Marnie. Marnie was up towards the blast right and tried to down special to get fast fall, get to stage a little bit safety, throw out that hitbox right. But they were able to go up there and contest with the upper and actually beat it out for both of those stocks that game. And that is, you know, that's a very hard timing to get. And the fact they will do that consistently 2 times in a row is really impressive.
Yeah, it's all about that timing, really. You have to make sure that you know when things are going to work and when they aren't, especially with a support character like Velma. You need to make sure you know exactly how your character's toolkit is going to work in different scenarios, because otherwise you can't just throw them out. You're going to be left open, you're going to be put in a lot of trouble, and it's eventually going to lead to your easy demise.
Definitely. And so interesting to see if we get any kind of stage counter picks or anything else this game 3. But it looks like we're sticking with the Sky Arena with platforms here. I mean, one of my favorite stages in the game, so I definitely get the desire to play on it. Actually, I think last time we didn't have platforms, right?
Right. Now
okay,
this... I don't know how much of an effect this stage has on Velma's projectiles. I don't think it has any. But I know for like Rain Dog specifically, I am not the biggest fan of this stage because platforms do interfere with down special as well. And so it just doesn't make it fun for me to be able to be on this stage as much. However, I don't think it has a real effect here with Velma, so I think this won't be that bad of a thing. And not only that, but you just have that ability to be able to use those platforms to give you extra jump height whenever your opponent's really high up in the air. It gives you that opportunity for that kill. The normal stuff we talk about with platforms.
Definitely, and I think we were talking about if it has an advantage for Velma. I think the idea Marnie had behind picking the stage was being able to sort of try to catch landings on these platforms. With that, we've seen the grounded up attack a lot so far. We've seen it 3 or 4 times. We really didn't see it much at all last game. And so I think that was part of Marnie's game plan, but Zage is continuing the momentum from game 1 and really just being all over Marnie right now. Canceling out of these specials, doing all kinds of things, and really able to, this slippery movement, keeping him on his toes.
Yeah, and right now, like, Marnie is doing just a really good job right now of
and that will be the
trying
first
to stay alive, but unfortunately, as I say that, oh, here comes
will the police
get
him? able to stretch into safety there, and it looks like he's going to survive without getting hit by the cops there at that time.
Unfortunately, the police just not going to be just about as reliable, unfortunately. So now Velma's going to have to take care of things herself.
Up special not going to combo the up air there for Marnie. And, you know, we've seen... Okay, we got close there to Zage lapping in percent, but Marnie able to snag a couple more hits in to even it up. Relatively. One more up attack there from Marnie, and so we'll see. I feel like Marnie's a little more hesitant to use that down special in the air now after that, opting for that side air angle downwards, things like that to cover their landing instead, by the way that game 2 went. Oh my gosh! Zage charging that forward air, trying to go for it all, ends up SDing there actually.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't really like to see that. You really are just looking to get the kill off stage. And I usually tell this to my Metaphy students as well. It's like, if you're wanting to play off stage, the first thing you need to be doing is you need to make sure you know how to recover properly back onto stage. And even varying your recovery as well, because it's going to be very important that if you're trying to edge guard your opponent, that if your opponent just so happens to be able to get the reversal on you, that you're able to make it back onto stage. Unfortunately, Zage wasn't able to do either of that, but still, as I stated though, Zage was still able to win it regardless. So did it really matter, chat? Did it?
Yes, and I definitely think, at least from my point of view, I thought Zage was going for like a suicide fair essentially, or Sarah trying to just get the kill, like a little stylish, you know, just go for it all, just try to end the game right then and there. Because, you know, the way they fast fell, there wasn't much coming back from that. All right, so that is the end of that first, essentially like a smaller best of 3 as Zage would take it, but we still have at least one more game for MarniWRLD to try to come back and find their way into the next part of Losers Bracket. But the next game is potentially the last game of the tournament for Marnie, so this is kind of do or die at this point.
You're right about that, and it's also potentially the last set here for Zage as well. So it really is a battle of attrition here. Who's going to win the fight? Only time will tell. Right now, we've got an advantage for Zage, but MarniWRLD's still in it. They are potentially able to take it. It's just a matter of if they are able to.
Definitely, and we saw that game 1. They are capable of it for sure. But Zage got a little momentum game 2, and game 3 kind of ran with it even more. So we'll see how game 4 goes, whether it's, you know, a continue of that same trend or if Marnie can take back some of that momentum. So it looks like we are loading in here, and we've had some different stage counter picks. I wonder if we will opt for the Sky Zone with platforms again, or if we'll get something different, maybe like, okay, no platforms. So back to the stage we saw throughout the beginning of this set for the most part.
Alright, let's see here. We've got Sky Arena, no platforms. You love to see it. I love it.
Oh yeah, such a good stage. And this is a much more even start. I think Marnie really going in a little more. Oh, and there's that up smash we were talking about. And what an extension from Marnie, able to get all the way up to 63 damage on Zage. I'm telling you, when that skateboard comes out from Jake, that's when the big damage happens. It's just, once you get in, put you in such a scramble situation. You know, you just don't always know when you're going to pop out, when you can't. But I bet the Jake player usually knows better than you do.
Alright, we're going to see Velma once again going in for that racking up a percent that she's so very good at. And down air to up air there is just so strong. It deals so much percent.
Triple stare. MarniWRLD
at this point, do you really call it a triple stare? You really call it a triple stare at this point? I feel like it did there. I feel like it did there.
It's technically the side of it. You start charging to the side, then you angle it down is what Marnie was able to do there. And that is crazy. Even with the attack decay, managed to land 3 of those in a row and still secure the KO that close to the blast zone.
Well, so does Mario's forward air, but you don't call that a down air, even though it's fights.
Yeah, I called it a Sarah side air.
Okay, whatever. But anyways.
Because
yeah, Jake did it. Jake did it. Go get him. Go get him, please. Get after him. All right, there we go. Busted. Now time to rack up all that damage. But well, we got a good 80% from that, which is very, very good. I love this.
Ooh, that's the first time we've seen that side special actually land there from Zage. We've seen a lot of charging and canceling out of it, but the full commit that time, and I think Marnie was expecting to cancel, and so he was able to land it. So Marnie's sitting at a high 116%, but getting this skateboard going. Well, these players kind of doing circles around each other in center stage right now.
Yep.
Oh my
Jake,
goodness.
once again, with that stage control, is able to get that game.
Yeah, I say once again pulling out that stretchy arm straight down to the blast zone. You know, it's a really tough time trying to recover up the wall against characters like Jake. We has the potential to do that from such, you know, just hit you so low.
Absolutely. And MarniWRLD now really getting another game on the board. So 2-2. That means we've got one more game, ladies and gentlemen, to go through before we get that final finisher to see who's going to move on to the next round here.
Definitely game 5 situation. First one we've seen so far on stream. Not that we've had a ton of games, but it's still a really exciting proponent. We've seen a really back and forth set here, you know, with Marnie really taking advantage and kind of running with that second game, using the same setup back to back to be able to seal off that game, sort of like Zage did in game 2. So it'll be interesting to see how that momentum carries over, what kind of adjustments Zage can make to how he recovers and those kind of things. And so it'll be a really exciting game 5 we have coming up here for you guys.
Absolutely. I'm really interested to see what the counter pick is for here. It's going to be Trophy Zage based on the music, so this is a good counter pick here. It's going to be really interesting to see how it goes.
I say definitely. I love seeing this stage. We talked about it being a pretty neutral stage. I think the amount of extensions it'll provide, but also the reason Zage might have picked it is because those platforms, when they are out off of the stage, provide extra ways to recover and ways to mix up the way you get back to the stage. So that could be huge with the way last game went.
Right, exactly. And so far, we're seeing a pretty good job between both players, doing really relatively even here so far. It's just a matter now of just getting that real advantage going, getting that extra percent going. And we're starting to see some clues fly out here from Velma. She needs to collect them before it is too late. However, once again, like I said before, both players are going to be relatively even for the most part. They're going to be just doing back and forth between each other. Not too much anything clip-worthy going on.
Definitely, and it seems like in this set so far, whoever gets that first stock or the first life really has an advantage going into the second one, which, I mean, makes sense in theory no matter what, but I think with a character like Velma, with the way she can play with all of these projectiles and things, trying to approach as Jake when you're down as much becomes, you can press a little more, and it becomes a much harder situation when you're behind a character like Velma. Oh my goodness, and the confirm out of the neutral attack there. Zage able to take that first stock. And the police car follows Jake all the way up as he stretches. What is going on right now with 52 damage? Huge opener to that second life. And the combos don't stop there. Zage is really going in. Up attack gonna hit from Marnie for a quick reversal though.
Right, now it looks like MarniWRLD just really trying to just get Zage off the ground here to get some potential up airs going or something along those lines, as we can see the charge up strong there. However, not going to be able to get anything too much. We got the 110% on MarniWRLD as well, so we could see a potential first kill here. However, Zage is looking very unfortunate here with that 92% deficit, especially being a whole stock behind, but we got the cop car out here, just like you said.
So many obstacles on the stage right now.
Jake's gonna get caught. 189, 99%. Gonna
not looking good for
alive with the 208. There's no way you're living at that percent. Any dog is going to get boat after that one.
Yeah, say all dogs go to heaven. So we hope that after that, Jake is up there somewhere. But really good stuff to Zage. That was a pretty dominant game 5. You know, after such a back and forth set, to just come out and deal 331 damage. You'll get up to 200 on that last stock with such a conversion off of the cop car. I mean, that is one heck of a way to seal it out. And the insane losers run continues now with Zage having a record of 10-1 so far in this tournament.